Are there any drummers in the house?
I play percussion.
That's because he couldn't play anything else.
Shut up.
Come here, dude.
Hey, man. Did you touch my drum set?
Nope.
It's just weird, because seems like someone definitely touched my drum set.
Yeah, that is weird. 'Cause I didn't touch them.
I am warning you right now, if you touch my drums, I will stab you in the neck with a knife.
Not quite my tempo. It's all good. No worries. Here we go.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Drumheads podcast. My name is Daniel, and this is episode 61, and I can't believe that I'm saying this, with Mark O'Connell of Taking Back Sunday. Let me repeat that, because I don't even believe it to myself. Yes, Mark was gracious enough to be on the podcast. This is what I love about the internet, guys. I reached out. I did this post. Someone asked me, "Hey, what's your wish list of like drummers you could have on the podcast? Like big, influential drummers, And I just put up the list of the ones that, that are influential to me, and I just love their drumming. And so, there's the list is probably like 30 people long. But one of my favorite drummers is Mark from Taking Back Sunday. I'm a huge Taking Back Sunday fan. I mean, I'm back to the old school, first album. My friend Justin Biltman introduced me to them. I was kind of on this little lull. It's like, hey, you're wanting something that's going to, pump you up. And he gave me, tell all your friends, which he did what the title said. Good marketing there, guys. And I was hooked. I had, from day, I've loved them since then. That was like 2002, I think, maybe 3. I can't remember exactly when. But yes. And he was just one of those drummers I've always loved over the years. His style, he's one of those guys. He doesn't play double bass. It's got, aggression. It's got emotions. It's very, just rocking. It's just, and it just for all these years, it's just clicked with me. And I've just loved his drumming and identified with it. So, he was on my top of the list, and I had tagged him in the thing, because thinking, maybe one person will respond. And he was one of the people, and he said, yeah, I'll do your podcast. I'm like, yes! Woo! And I was so excited. I could not believe it that he was going to be on. So we did the interview over Skype. We talked for almost a good hour, which, I was, I was super grateful that, we talked about being, parents, but how some of the albums recorded, the process, I didn't want to, get into that typical interview. It's like, blah, blah, you hear them, people just ask those same 4 or 5 questions that are kind of just boring and milquetoast. We just talked, and I'm still floored. I'm gonna be, I probably won't go to sleep tonight at all. I'll just be thinking about how just awesome. And these experiences that I just will cherish. This podcast has opened up so many opportunities, for me to interview these people and talk to these drummers I love, and express that love, through the podcast. And I hope that, every time I have somebody on, I'm, that collectively, us, the listeners and the fans are, learning. And I know I learn every podcast we do. And this is, another great learning opportunity, about Mark. So you guys go check them out. They're releasing their new album, Tidal Waves, on September 16th. I've already pre-ordered it. It's on iTunes, Amazon, all of that. You can actually go to their website if you want to and get it as well. Go follow Mark and Taking Back Sunday on all the social medias and stuff like that. And to all the new listeners, and I'm pretty sure we're going to, have some new people listening. Thank you for checking us out. This podcast is about just talking to drummers and drum makers, and we occasionally throw reviews in there, and we, just talk shop. This is a podcast. It's all about just learning through shared experiences and, just talking about drums and our love for drums. And each drummer is different. Some people are very, gear heavy type people, and some people aren't. And that's what I love. You get a mix of, in a variety of every type, of drummer out there. Female drummers, people from different races and backgrounds, all that. So welcome. Thank you for listening. And just thank you to Mark for taking time out. And he, it's so easy for, someone of, of his stature to sing, whatever. And I love that there's musicians out there who still will take time to talk to their fans and and just talk. I mean, he's one of those people. Finding an interview with him that's more than 5 minutes is it's like Moby Dick, trying to find this white whale that you can never see. It's hard. So I wanted to really talk to this guy because I had questions, and I'm sure his fans had questions too. So it's just such a mind-blowing experience, guys. So thank you for checking us out. Go check out some of the other episodes. I've got big plans coming up for some more in the future as well. So yeah, this is the Drumheads Podcast, and this is episode 61 with Mark O'Connell. Taking Back Sunday, son. Woo! Hey guys, welcome back to the Drumheads Podcast, and I am joined by Mark O'Connell of Taking Back Sunday. How are you, Mark?
I'm doing very well. You?
I'm ecstatic. Let's just say that.
Where are you? Where are you from?
I'm in Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay.
It's
I heard nice there.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's in the mountains. It's kind of like the Austin, Texas of North Carolina. So it's kind of like a cool hippie kind of laid back town.
My friend's parents actually just moved there from Long Island.
Oh, okay. I hear you. So I guess we'll just jump right into it. So I kind of want to start with your drumming background. So what age did you pick up playing drums?
8. I was 8. I was at my aunt's house for Christmas dinner,
mm-hmm.
and I have my cousins Mike and John. They're twins. One of them had a snare drum in their basement,
mm-hmm.
and I saw the snare drum, and I started playing with it, and then I asked them for, if I could have it. I just said, "Can I have this?" And sure.
Yeah.
So I took it home, and that was it.
That hooked you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right from the get-go, I was very into music. Like Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
Like as a little kid, just.
Mm-hmm.
So I always wanted to be, like Lars or something.
Yeah. Did you come from a musical family?
No, see, my parents aren't musical at all, but my brother and I are. So my brother really introduced up and kind of molded me into the guy that I am and to what I listened to growing up. Like
mm-hmm.
in high school and everything, the stuff that really makes you who you are.
Yeah.
So my brother and I are very musical. It's our lives, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you. I don't come from a musical family at all. My dad's a mechanic, and my mom was a teacher, so it was music was played in the house, but it was kind of like an afterthought. So,
right. Yeah.
Did they play music or anything? Like just records or anything like that when you were growing up?
My dad played a lot of music that really stuck with me, like Paul Simon,
mm-hmm.
The Who, Beatles,
mm-hmm.
Even like I don't know, like Creedence Clearwater Revival. That's one band I still love listening to constantly. James Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
So
cool. Well, Clapton, yeah. Who was that first drummer that really kind of like drew you in? You're like, this is someone I can relate to.
Lars. I love Lars and John Bonham.
John Bonham. Yeah, I could tell with your playing that you're a big Bonham guy.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't. I remember like hearing his drum solos and everything, and just being like, "What is he doing?" And it was a triplet,
mm-hmm.
that triplet thing that and I remember thinking I had to learn how to do that immediately.
Nice. So when it came to like getting a drum set, what was did your parents get you one, or did you have to save up money and get your own?
Well, I was 8, so but I didn't get the drum set till I was 8. I played. I had one snare drum
mm-hmm.
and one cymbal for a couple of years, and then I think the first time I got a drum set when I was like 10 or 11,
mm-hmm.
something like that. So but I got it for Christmas.
Oh,
so
nice.
They got it for me, and they were always really supportive. I drove my mom nuts. Just
I hear you. I was the same way. I'm like, come on, Ma, just please, for the love of God, get me a drum set. So
yeah.
it took a little persuading, but you get there finally.
one thing that she would do was she would switch the lights and then just stop, and then I remember just keep not being able to, I'd be like, all right, 5 more minutes, Finally hear, cut it out,
Yeah, oh yeah, I remember that. You had to cut it out at a certain time, and you were just gonna be pissing off, the whole neighborhood. The whole neighborhood had a threshold, and it was like, 10 o'clock, and then you're over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you do any kind of like school band, any type like marching band, or were you just a garage band kind of guy?
Well, garage band. I always had a very hard time reading music.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do it. And it really used to piss off the band leaders. Like I played stage band and jazz in high school, but what I would do is the teacher or somebody in the class, like if they were like, all right, you play on this song, they would get me a tape of it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, nice.
I guess I'm dating myself right now, but yeah.
No. Hey, we're very close in age, so I hear you.
But that's how I would play the songs that I did, and I just couldn't do it. And then I would do. There's this thing in New York called NISMA, and I used to participate in that, but I would just I would fake the reading.
Yeah.
Have recording. I remember a couple of years I had recordings of what I had to do, and I just memorized it.
Yeah, I was the same way. It was just, kind of like, did you see Drumline, that movie with Nick Cannon?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me. I'm like, you just watch the guy play it for like, okay, I got it. And, you just moved on. And
yeah.
I'm dyslexic, so when I see notes on a page, it's like, it's a mess.
You're speaking my language.
I hear it. That's the worst. And it's like, and I do it with numbers and all of it. So seeing it on the page, it's like it's just a bunch of shit on the page that doesn't make sense,
Right.
And my drum teacher would like try to drill it in my head, but it just never took.
Right. So what I would do is listen to who I liked and play along with it. That's how I really learned how to play drums.
Mm-hmm. So what was your first like band you had together, like a garage band?
Man, I was starting young. Even with Taking Back Sunday's bass player, him and I grew up same neighborhood, and even in like second or third grade, we had a group together.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but then like in high school, him and I had another group together. So we were starting young, man. We wanted to do it at a very young age.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome that you had that drive from that. A lot of kids, don't really get that motivation till they're at least, and I would say like maybe a sophomore in high school, sometimes later, and you guys starting out that young. Because I was talking to my wife last night. I'm like trying to figure out how old you were. I'm like, he's like almost my age, and he was touring with Taking Back Sunday when you were probably what? You were 21.
Well, I mean 20.
20. Okay, yeah. So I mean, that's,
even 19, like in the very beginning, I was 19.
Yeah. And that's I'm like, that's awesome that you that early, having that, that drive is, incredible. Because, some drummers don't make it till they're 40,
Yeah. And I mean, that's really drive. If you're still doing the thing and you're 40, you love it.
Oh, yeah. It's not a hobby then. It's more of it's a passion at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to talk about your kit because I was going back, because I've been a fan since, day one. And your kit has not really changed over the years. Is that just...
I mean, the drum kits that I've had have.
Yeah. But like your actual...
four.
Yeah, your setup is pretty much stayed the same from, from tour to tour or album to album for the most part.
Yeah.
And is that just, for simplicity, or is it just that's just what you like?
That's just how I feel comfortable. I've tried to add things here and there. I even tried to rip off the Fugazi drummer, add a bell.
Yeah. Oh, on top of the ride?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done little things. I had an 808 for a little bit, but I overused it. So I guess, yeah. Recently I tried to add another floor tom, and I was like, there's no point. I'm not using it enough, and I can't twist my body all the way around. It just isn't working. So the 4 works. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and it probably pushes you to be more creative, live and also in the studio. Where you're not, be easy to like, oh, I'm going to bring in all this stuff and then try to recreate it live would be kind of hard. And also it just makes you work harder at your craft, I think, when you go.
Yeah. I never even really thought of it like that, but I mean, you know what? The one thing that does make me work harder at it is having a single pedal.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I think having that definitely drives me to come up with cooler stuff and things like parts that I want to sound like a double bass pedal. I work on it, making it not, and using the floor tom instead.
Yeah.
You combo of the bass drum and floor tom and trying to get that double bass sound.
Yeah, because you're one of few kind of like heavier drummers that doesn't use double bass, which is kind of an anomaly. And but looking at Taking Back Sunday's music, I don't think it really fit.
No, it's funny. I was 18 when I joined the band, right? And Eddie, our guitar player, my first tryout, he was like, "Oh, you have a double bass pedal, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "All right, maybe you should get rid of that." And
like, thanks.
Like metal in high school and everything. So I had it, and then over time I was like, you know what, this band, it's corny. Double bass pedal could be corny if it's not used right and used for the right music. And with Taking Back Sunday, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't vibe. I mean, doing a lot of repetitive like 16th notes doesn't, it sounds cool for some songs, but with you guys' music, it's more. It's just it doesn't feel right.
No, corny, I think is the right word.
Corny, yeah. So, and like you said, it forces you to be more creative on those songs, because there's some songs I swear I'm like, oh, that sounds like a double bass pedal, but it's not, which is that's that bottom right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, it's funny, and like Keith Moon too. It's I don't know, for drummers, like. These guys are your like they're your heroes, and then I started thinking about how funny it is that like I don't know, Keith Moon and John Bonham were my heroes growing up as a little kid, and they were both died and drug addicts. But I don't know, it's not that funny, but it just came to my mind right now.
It's all right. This podcast is all about just whatever comes, and don't worry about if you curse. I don't care. It's so.
Have I?
I don't think I have, but I always like people are like, you don't have to censor yourself, because I don't believe in that. If you're trying to prove a point and you have to curse, that's fine. So,
okay.
I didn't want. Some people are like, I had someone on. They're like, and yeah, that guy was such a. I'm like, just say it. Just go ahead and say it. Just talking about an old band teacher or something like that. And I'm like, you can curse. It's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my band teacher in middle school. He was really cool about me not being able to read music and this and that. And I guess my high school guy was as well. But, man, like, it's funny. I haven't seen my middle school band teacher in a long time, and he just moved to Arizona, and he was like, yeah, I'll come out to the show. So I'm going to see him.
Nice.
So that'll be nice.
Yeah, it's fun to run in. I ran into my own band teacher it was about 2 or 3 years ago, and, he was, happy to see that I was still sticking with drums, at 33 years old. So I think that reaffirms that they had done something right in their life, because there's a lot of kids who, my sister, she played in school band, but when she graduated, that was it. She was done.
I mean, that's a personal choice. You know what I mean? If you really love it, you're gonna stick with it no matter what. If you didn't get along with your band teacher or not,
Yeah. So your new record comes out September 15th. 16th, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And, the first 2 songs, really digging the vibe. What kind of, in my opinion, your last album, you were very, ambitious with some of the drumming stuff you were doing on that album. Especially, you were using some cool delays on, some of the songs when it came to the drum fills. That was stuff that was new to the music. Was that something you chose, or was it the producer, or combination of both?
Well, with Mike Sapone, he definitely brought some of that. You know what I mean? He's so, but with the last album, I just wanted to do, keep it new and do something different and not there was no saying like, no, you can't do any of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I felt happy with the performance on the last album, and I also wanted to, I don't know, I felt like when you write a new album, right, and the songs aren't totally like when you go and play them for a couple of years, you start adding stuff, and and it doesn't sound as good on the album because it's not, that stuff isn't there, like like cool little fills or whatever. So lately, well, Unhappiness is, and the album that we just recorded, I tried to think ahead and do.
And really plan it out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Cool. So you kind of, when you would go into old sessions, you kind of go in there, kind of, just dry, no agenda, just kind of.
I never even thought about it. It was just something that never occurred to me. Like, hey, this is going to be recorded forever. Do your best and make it as fresh as possible.
And the last album, like I said, it was very fresh. Because my wife, she's not the biggest fan, but she really kind of like came around on that last album, which I think is a testament to you're a band that's been playing since 2001.
99.
Okay, so that's. I'm not a math surgeon, so that's at least what, 20 years?
It is 1999. It's 17 years.
17 years. That's kind of close.
Yeah.
But to make, you're getting new fans, which is always great. When you're still the core of what you are, but you've kind of you can tweak things along the way and bring in some people who may not necessarily listen to the older albums, which is, it's always great.
Yeah. It's funny, and we've seen younger brothers, younger sisters, families now, like people that have met at our shows when they were young, and now they have families, and people that stop coming and then come back now, and so it's a pretty cool thing,
Yeah, that's crazy that families,
Yeah.
that young. Yeah, I mean, I've introduced my kids already because they're really loving the Tidal Wave song. My oldest son, who's 6. He calls it the pirate song.
Really?
Because he said it's got that. I'm like, why do you think it sounds like a pirate song? He's like, it's just got that, just kind of like, swing to it. I'm like, hey, if for a 6-year-old, that's a good compliment, I think.
Yeah, that makes me happy.
Yeah, and and he's starting to really focus on the music I'm listening to and asking, who is this, who is that, and he's getting drawn in, so it's always great to pass that along to fans.
Man, my kid is 3, right? And I can't wait for that to really hit,
and introduce to your music, but also you probably have those bands out there that you really want them to like be influenced by, or at least enjoy.
Yeah, I play a lot of early Metallica. A lot around the house and in the car, and he really, really hated it and would beg me to turn it off. I played it enough to where
that
he doesn't anymore.
Right, finally, I broke him
Yeah.
to liking it. That's awesome. So your son's, and you just have the one kid.
Yeah,
one kid. Yeah, I have 3. So when we were talking last night, I'm like, oh, I could totally relate to that.
Yeah. It was a tantrum, to say the least. Just,
Yeah, when I saw that, and then I would tell my wife, she's like, that's you right there. It's just, that's the joy of being a parent. And finding that balance for sure.
And sometimes, I live right on the beach, right? And I don't know. It's funny, like sometimes I would bring him down to the beach, and I don't know if it was too hot for him or whatever. He just didn't want to go. But I would bring him down and wait for him to settle. But man, if you're walking around with a screaming kid in public, the looks that you get from people are just
it's embarrassing, but at the same point, you're like, it's a kid. Relax. Kids have their moments, and just everybody, take it down a notch. It's going to be all right. But yeah. It's just
exactly.
Yeah.
It's more people that don't have a kid.
Exactly. Yeah, because I was always that guy. I'm like, oh, these people and their kids, and now I have kids. I'm like, oh, I feel you, brother. I feel you. So has being a parent, has that changed the way you approach any of your, how you, because I know most of the guys in the band have kids. Does that affect your writing?
It's funny. Like, I play guitar too, and I write a bunch of the songs. But I would notice if I was playing the guitar around the house or whatever, and he would start moving, then I'm on to something good. So yeah, I guess so. He's kind of like
a tester.
Right.
Yeah, and I've always wondered that because, being the kind of band that Taking Back Sunday is, there's some aggression there. And, I remember reading a review one time. It's like, well, how can you be angry when you're 30 years old? It's like, no, there's still things you can be pissed off about. And,
I'm really an angry guy.
And yeah, I'm like, Taking Back Sunday's not really an angry band.
No, not an angry band. But,
Adam's lyrics can be, a little, not harsh is not the right word, but, real, and, emotional.
With his lyrics, yeah.
Yeah.
He's brutal.
Yeah, and, I'm like, it's, you can still have emotions, like you were when you're 20. It's one of those things.
Yeah, I guess it's just different things that are making you angry or bothering you, than when you were 19 or 20 or 20,
Yeah.
You got grown-up problems now.
Grown-up problems, yeah. Grown-up problems and then parent problems, which are, sometimes it's very frustrating as well, but, we get through them. But, so I'm going to, I like to talk about gear for a second. And, so right now you're using Gretsch drums.
Yeah.
What kind of shells are they made out of? Or do you have like kind of a variety you like to choose from?
See, this is the one area with drumming that I also don't know about.
Fair enough. That's you're not. Don't worry, you're actually not. There's a lot of drummers who just do not care about they care about their gear, but they're not like gear nuts.
I'm not a gearhead, and like anytime a drummer will ask these questions, I feel like an idiot for not knowing. And I kind of just think like I just hit them to the best of my ability.
Best of your abilities, yeah.
I really don't know. Like, there's nothing out there like that. I'm like, oh, I need this piece of gear, or like there's drummers I don't know that have like 30 snare drums. I'm just not that guy. I'm like, one snare drum works good. I've had the same snare drum for probably a decade. I got one on the side too,
Yeah. So you're kind of one of those guys, once you find something you like, you just stick with it, which is, that's to each his own. That's how I look at it. The snare drum I have back here, I've been using the same one for, I think 12 years,
Yeah.
And of course it was a gift from my wife, so it's a Stuart Copeland snare drum, so it's like, yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't part ways with the snare drum your fiance gives you, so
no.
Yeah.
I get in trouble.
Might get us just in a bit trouble. But when it comes to drummers, what drummers that are out there right now that you're really really digging?
I mean, we've got to tour with Blink-182 a bunch of times, so I've gotten to watch Travis Barker from the stage a whole lot. And so, him, I don't know, I keep it old school, you know what I mean? Like, I still love Lars Ulrich to this day. Everybody says, Lars sucks. He doesn't.
No.
His own, but he has a style that is so particular. And I think that's a very big part of drumming, just the style and bringing your own thing. And
Well, and he's one of those drummers, you can hear him play and you know who that is.
Exactly.
It's like, you hear Phil Collins or Stuart Copeland, you know that drummer by their sound. And it would sound weird to have Lars in a band that was, other than Metallica. It's just that's his thing.
Yeah. And I don't know, I don't know, I can't think of like any like right now, like up and coming drummers, because I don't really pay attention, but I don't know, I grew up also listening to a lot of punk rock, like Minor Threat, Civ and Gorilla Biscuits and Jawbreaker. So like those were the drummers that I really listened to a lot and I really gained the most from and my style from. You know what I mean?
And have you got to meet any of these guys over the years? And
I got to meet Trey Cool once. That was nice.
yeah, yeah.
But no, none of those other guys. No. Well, Sammy, this dude Sammy is was the drummer for Seven. Yeah, like early on, Taking Back Sunday toured with Walter Streiffel's band and Sammy's band called it's leaving my head right now. And I know it. But
It's all right. Yeah, it'll come. It's one of those like 5 minutes later, be like, oh, I know. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, exactly. As soon as we're done. But so I have.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's cool. It's I was curious, because you guys have toured with so many bands, and you've had openers and stuff like that. Just meeting them. Sometimes just meeting them and just appreciating their music, which is always just fun.
Yeah. It's funny. The same day I met Trey Cool, I met Stuart. Well, I didn't meet Stuart Copeland, but we ended up in the same room together, which was
it's good enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to open up for Green Day for 2 shows at Milton Keys Arena, or no, not I think Milton Keys.
Mm-hmm.
And after the second day, they invited us to their after party, and we got to hang out. But Stuart Copeland was there hanging out.
Nice.
So, yeah,
that's cool. So, let's see, because you guys are getting geared up you're doing a European tour here soon. I think I read that right. Maybe not.
We're doing a club shows.
Okay.
And we're playing our whole new album straight through,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that, we're gonna play the old the goodies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's coming up next, and then we're gonna go to Europe. I can't remember what the exact date is. We're about to go to Malaysia for the first time.
Oh,
really?
That's gonna be nice.
Yeah, and Jakarta. We're going to Jakarta, Indonesia.
Nice.
I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, and it's always fun, to see those fans that that live, like you said, in Indonesia or Malaysia and stuff like that, and meet them is always super fun as well.
Yeah, it is. And Singapore too. There's a lot of Muslims in Singapore, so it's weird. Like you see a lot of the girls there with headscarves on, going nuts. So that's
really, I would imagine that. That's awesome.
In the same.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, I always like to ask this question. I don't. How much time do you have? I don't want to take up more than.
I'm here. I'm
okay.
hanging.
Cool. What other things do you like to do besides playing drums? What other hobbies do you got?
Well, writing music, I love. I have the GarageBand app, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it's pretty good, because I was given like a lot of drum samples, like just really nice sounding drum samples. So I love writing music
mm-hmm.
on that. I live at the beach, so I go swimming a lot.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Get a lot of. We just did the Taste of Chaos tour, and then so we had like a month and a half home.
Oh, no, yeah, which is.
Oh man, it was really nice to just go in the water, catch waves,
mm-hmm.
and hang out.
Yeah, and you're in Long Island. Is all the band still live in Long Island, or is it just a couple of you?
Just me and Sean, our bass player. Adam and John moved to North Carolina.
Okay, that was a question I had, so I'll get back to that. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say Eddie moved to Ohio.
Nice. And that so North Carolina, because you guys recorded some of that in Franklin, North Carolina. Charlotte. Okay. Well, I remember seeing something. Maybe it was somebody else, but all of the places, North Carolina is a kind of a random ass place to live, but because
Adam is actually from North Carolina.
Yeah, he's the only one that's not a native, right? The rest of you guys were all Long Island born. Yeah. And so I guess you just because it's easy for a lot of drummers, they either move to Los Angeles, Nashville, or New York, and you kind of just wanted to stay where you grew up, which I think is when you're done touring, it's always good to come back to home.
Yeah, man. I mean, I got my family here, all my friends, and like I said, Sean and I grew up together.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had a tight knit group of friends since we've been little kids. And then so I was thinking, like, there's really no, why am I going to leave? What am I going to do? Where am I going to go? This is where this is I am, and I love it here, you know?
You probably got your favorite pizza place in town, and
Get down the block.
Yeah. I mean, you're amongst Italians everywhere. Are you Italian?
My mom's all Italian. My dad's all Irish, so I'm half and half.
I hear you. Yeah, I'm half Italian as well, and mix of Irish and Greek and Arab. So yeah, I hear you on that. But so that Long Island pizzas you can get there. There's some good pizza.
It's the best.
You can't get it in Los Angeles or Nashville. You know, you could try, but you know.
You could try, and there might be some weird place that I don't know. You know what I mean? But man, I've had some horrible pizza.
Oh yeah, me too, man. I mean,
like mozzarella cheese, not mozzarella, cheddar cheese. I'm going, who would ever think about putting cheddar cheese on a fucking pizza?
I know. That's the worst.
Good.
Yeah,
So,
I am very particular about my pizzas, and you know, living here in North Carolina, I found that place, you know, and I'm like, they're from Brooklyn, so they've got it down.
in North Carolina, there was this place down the block from the studio. I can't remember what it's called right now, but they were from where the hell are they from? I don't know, Queens or Brooklyn, either one.
Mm-hmm.
But the pizza was legit. You know what I mean? It was straight up like nothing. Like even sometimes when it's good, out of state, you could tell that there's just something off about it. And there's one place that we would go to, and it was perfect.
Yeah,
like straight up.
They say it's something about the water that, you know, when they make the dough, that I've heard that rumor, and
I've heard that rumor too. I don't think it is. I think you just need the right ingredients. You know, so very important. Yeah, I mean, it's all important.
Yeah,
cheese,
it's all cheese.
You know? Don't put crap on it, and it will taste good.
Exactly.
That's the big secret.
Do what?
That's the big secret.
That is the big secret. Just good ingredients, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Are you? So do you like to cook or anything like that, or?
I mean,
when you get a chance.
Cooking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every once in a while I'll cook a little bit, but not. You know, I'm not making any homemade sauce or anything. You know.
You'll leave your family to do that. Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, because I was, you know, I always ask that question because there's a lot of drummers who are, you know, like my thing after podcasting and drumming is I love movies and stuff like that. That's my kind of fallback is, you know, just watching some good movies. So
good shows lately. Like you watched The Night Of?
I haven't made it that. It's on my list.
It's really good.
Yeah, I've heard it's great.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's just it's finding those little things to kind of take your mind away because it's so easy to get wrapped up in drums and, you know, everything else that you got to have that little thing that kind of takes you out of it just for a second.
Yeah, it drives me insane sometimes, just overthinking music and how it should be, and you know, whatever crazy thing you're thinking about, and it is nice to kind of just go, all right, forget it. Let's just eat a lot of ice cream and watch stuff on TV. And,
yeah.
You know.
So going back to the album, so is there a standout track that that's your favorite song that you've put out?
Well, Tidal Wave and Can't Look Back. Those are the songs that we put out so far, and I really like those too. And then, you know, I think we're gonna put out the opening track on the album is called Death Wolf, and it's also maybe one of my favorite songs that we've ever written. It's really fast, and it's new for us. You know what I mean? It's really fast. It's a punk rock song. So
yeah, because Tidal Wave it's got a punk. It's very punk, you know, driven. It's not you know, because some of your older songs you play in 6/8, and sometimes it's just a, you know, not a slow 4/4, but you know, a mid, you know, tempo song. You know? But when I downloaded, you know, and pre-ordered the album, got the download, I'm like, wow, this one's moving right here.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we all grew up listening to punk rock. We never really played it, and it's bothered me. I've always wanted to.
You're like, damn it, guys, we're gonna do this. Yeah.
I always kind of pretended to myself that we were a punk band, but knowing a little bit that we weren't. But yeah, I guess you know, it kind of, you know, it wasn't like a planned out thing either. It was kind of just like what we're gonna do right now. You know?
Yeah, and you guys definitely hit a type of music that at a certain time, because I remember I was out of high school, and my friend Justin Bilton, who's now the bass player for Three Doors Down, is he entered. Do what?
Did someone in that band just die?
Yeah, the old bass player did.
So your friend is a new bass player.
Yeah, he stepped in when the guy was going through some drug problems and stuff.
Right.
And they kind of kicked him out, and he I think he eventually, I think he overdosed, but yeah, he's been playing with them for 3 years, I think now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he's the guy that introduced me to you guys, because I was kind of hit this lull in my life. I was like, I was all in the Dave Matthews Band and like, the acoustic stuff, and I was like, man, I just want a band that's got some, umph. And he's like, here, listen to this. Hooked. So
really?
Yeah, and it definitely and is one of those bands that grew with me. So when I went to Italy, my soundtrack was your fourth album. I'm blanking on the name. But New Again is the title track.
Yeah.
What album is that? Is it New Again?
It's called New Again.
Okay,
yeah.
Duh. But yeah, that was like my anthem for 2009. And just when I hear that album, I think of Italy. So
Amazing how music can do that.
Yeah.
Like Weezer's Blue album, man. I mean, every single time I hear it, I go to this one place. I go to Sean's basement.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Just me and my friends used to hang out there all the time, and that was where we went. So that's where I go immediately, like walking down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Soon as My Name Is Jonas.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a great song. Yeah, it's funny how music can, it does that to you. You can, it's like a time capsule almost of like, where you are.
It's amazing just what immediate memories, I guess good or bad, that it can bring back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I could put on, even if I put on a Dave Matthews album, I go back to middle school, or something like that.
He's a great drummer.
Oh yeah, Carter. Yeah, he's and he's one of those guys that started late too. I think he was in his late 30s when he started, with Dave Matthews Band, which is, yeah, it's just incredible that, he just stuck to it that long.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to talk about your acoustic show you guys did at that awesome cathedral, right? It was a cathedral.
It was actually a synagogue.
A synagogue. Okay, yeah, yeah.
It was a synagogue.
Was that a very like I don't know. You're doing all these live shows with amps and loud guitars and bringing it down. You had moments where you brought it up, but was that did you really have to focus doing those shows?
Yeah, well, we had to like rewrite the songs a little bit and make them interesting. Instead of just playing the song acoustic, we kind of worked on, changing each song around to make it new. But going and doing the thing, it was still, even though it was acoustic, it still was high energy. The people in the crowd were, standing up for most of the time.
Yeah.
Singing along. And we just got really drunk. Well, me and Adam did anyway. We drank a lot before and then just did it.
Just did it, yeah. Well, it's funny because I was, when I watched the video a long time ago, at one point the crowd starts clapping faster than the tempo you're playing at, and I didn't know if like you were just like lose your mind.
Do a click track.
Oh, you do a click track.
So when it's, I gotta shut my eyes and go, don't listen to anything but the click right now.
Oh, okay, yeah. I if I ever had a chance to talk to you, I was gonna always ask you about that because you stayed in tempo, and I'm like, how did you do that? Because the crowd was like, way louder, on the thing. But I'm like, either he's just got some like perseverance to just, I'm gonna do it, or you had to click. So that's good to know.
It's still difficult sometimes with the click when that does happen, because every time we play Q Out the E, we stop. Yeah, we stop for this crowd sing along thing, and people clap a lot to that. And I have to make sure. It's really annoying. Like at first, having the click just bing, bing, bing in your ears was really annoying. But now, I almost can't play without it. Like I've been doing it for so many years.
Right. Yeah, I could never get used to it, but it's like me with in-ear monitors. I can't play drums without them. You know, just between the cush that the insulation gives you, and you know, like if I take my headphones off and play drums without any ear protection, I'm like, oh, I think my ears are bleeding. You know.
Yeah. I've lost like 40 pounds, right? And I swear to God, my ears got thinner too, because while playing, on the tour, I wasn't getting that, like, the bass. You know what I mean? If the in-ears are in your ears, you can get that, like, that bass sound, that bottom end. And if they're loose and kind of jangly, all that high end.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
Yeah, it messes up your whole entire, I don't know.
Just flow, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the weight loss, was that, just personal or,
It was personal, but it was also had to do with drum playing. Like, man, my cymbals were getting closer, everything got closer, and I was.
You're getting, yeah.
What's right here? You know what I mean? I can't do my job as well. Being you don't see fat drummers really, for a reason.
Yeah. I can only think of maybe like one offhand. It would be like Bernard Purdy, Yeah.
And dude, there was this one drummer, I can't remember what band it was, but it was like we played this festival in Europe, and it was this like grindcore band, right? This dude was tapping, but he was playing faster. I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was like Entombed or something like that. But anyway, I'm watching this guy. Whoever the drummer was like, had to be like 350 pounds.
Wow.
The guy's just in a grindcore band, fat as ever, but he's nailing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's like, there's another drummer, Eric Moore, the second. Are you familiar with him? He does a lot of those like gospel chops, the shred fest.
I don't know him, but
yeah, he's lost like, he was one of those big dudes, and I think he's lost like almost like 200 pounds.
Damn.
Which is incredible. But it does affect you. I know I went through a period where I gained some weight, and the sluggishness of trying to push yourself was really affecting me.
It's a cardiovascular workout. You know what I mean? You got to lift. You got to reach. You got to lift. You got to be. Or else, yeah. There was one day like my cymbal was like so close. I was like, come on, man, you got to do something.
So and it also just. You're in better health as well, You
just feel better too.
Just feel better too, yeah. And then having a kid, you got to keep up with them.
Yeah. You can't be sleeping in the daytime.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Imagine on the couch eating food, which is a lot of what I used to do. Yeah,
it's so easy just to swing through a fast food place and eat garbage all day and expect what's happening to me,
Yeah, and beer.
Beer. Yeah, that too. Yeah, but have you cut it out completely, or is it just
pretty much like it was an everyday thing at one point, nonstop, But yeah. So I just
had to cut. Yeah. Well, it is what it is, and you kind of just it's a new stage of life, and you got to just move on for it, And it's easy to get bogged down and look at things like, oh, I wish I could do this, and then you forget to live life in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't like to do notes. I think it's too it's too formulaic, and it just, just have a conversation. That's what I like. Just
I'm feeling good. And thinking about that too, about whatever, like you see John Bonham as a young man, he's killing it.
Oh yeah.
You watch later videos, and he's struggling. You know what I mean? You could tell he's out of breath, and what's that? I don't know. You just look up any. But
yeah. Well, and yeah, you look up like Moby Dick in like 19, like the late 70s, and you can tell he's struggling with some of those solos.
Yeah.
And he's soloing for 10 minutes, on some of those.
I know. Sometimes I think like how they played for such a long time, that band. Man, I don't know. Don't get me wrong, I love Led Zeppelin. But it's a little boring after a while. Like, oh God, all right.
Yeah, it's one of those you appreciate it, and then you're like, okay, I need something else, and sounds like Metallica was your thing.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, that was one thing. I played Binge and Purge for my wife and my kid, and they both didn't like it. But I was trying to tell them, look at them. This is their prime. Like Justice for All just came out. They're tight as hell. Lars is probably at his best.
Yeah, for sure.
You
Yeah.
hear
Do what?
you hear their new song? Are you a fan or no?
I saw that. I hadn't had a chance. I've been so like backlogged with because with my work, I work in a medical warehouse, so I listen to podcasts all day and the stereo, and it's like, you guys are going to listen to this, because like I'm the lead, so I make them listen to whatever I'm listening to. But I hadn't had a chance yet to get to that one.
Check it out. Not bad.
Is it not bad? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's heavy. It's really heavy, and for whatever reason, James Hetfield stopped doing that thing that like the yeah.
That
He doesn't do it
that
once song, and it makes it good for me.
Long Island native Jim Brewer does that great impression of him.
Yeah, I think that he's the dude that brought that whole thing. Like, that made me go, oh, he does do that.
Yeah. He's like, I did not notice that. Yeah.
Yeah, he does that a lot. So yeah, it was really funny when he did that thing. Whatever it was, that bit at the Metallica roast, not a roast, whatever.
It was like a icons, I think is what they called
right.
it. Yeah. That was gosh, now we're really dating ourselves. Which is funny because when you watch that icons thing, the bass player is like an icon. I'm like, the dude just joined like last week. It was the new.
Oh
band.
right, that was right when
Jason had jumped out of the band.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the dude can't be an icon yet. Like, but I guess you can't have 3 blank, and you gotta have 4.
Yeah,
so.
you can't come because you just joined.
Yeah, like you're just a mid-level icon. So yeah. That's funny. But yeah, so the new album, it sounds like it's you're going in kind of a newish direction, but pulling from the past, but also kind of molding the future.
It's the same dudes, so it's gonna sound the way it's gonna sound. But we kind of we never planned anything out. A lot of people ask, like, when you're writing, what do you listen to? Is that what makes you write the way that you write? It's like, no, that's weird that you would think that.
Yeah.
But
you guys just get in there and jam.
Pretty much, like, someone will have a riff, sometimes full song, whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, there's like, hey, let's go for this sound now. It's kind of just whatever fits.
And this is what the 3rd album with you guys, with the original crew.
Yeah.
You guys have figured each other out pretty good by now.
Well, 3rd album in a row.
Yeah.
There's Tell All Your Friends, so it's the 4th album with
the 4 of you, the original guys, but the 3rd consistent. But yeah, it's you know those guys, especially your bass player Sean. You grew up with them, so you really know them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, man, we live together. Like when we're touring, it's so,
and
really get to know a person, really.
Yeah. Well,
and when you're sharing a bus with them.
Yeah. Well, and you're older now, so and your parents, fathers, you have a different respect for how you look at things. When you're a shithead 19-year-old kid, you look at things from a very egotistical way. Now you look more of it a collective way.
Yeah.
And that's but and it's also a testament to just how great the band is, because you've there's been multiple members and stuff like that, but you got everyone still comes back, which is great.
Yeah. I mean, and like I said, we started in 1999 and we're still doing it. So you see a lot of ups and downs throughout that time, but it's awesome, man, to be able to do this and play drums and write music for a living, and just whatever.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. I wish I could get paid to podcast, but I do it for free because it's a passion.
You never know. That's the thing, though.
Yeah. Well, and people would ask me who's on your dream list, and I'm like, well, it's these people and these people, and my wife's like, just ask, and
No, when I saw that, I said, why wouldn't I? I followed it on Instagram,
yeah,
right?
hmm
And then I said, what the hell? Why not? The dude wants to talk about drums and music. Why not?
yeah. And when I got that, it's like, yeah, I'm like, I was at work and I'm like, just excuse me for a second. I went outside. I was like, fuck yeah, And they're like, what? They're like, what happened? They're like, did you win the lottery? I'm like, no. Better yet, I get to interview the guy from Taking Back Sunday, and of course they're like, who? I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm like, I play them all the time. Do you guys? They're like, but they're all a bunch of rednecks, who just, if it's not the country music station, they don't care,
Man, it's amazing to me. I didn't realize that how big country music was until I started touring. You know what I mean? And then I'd be like, wait. And then when like young kids would listen to it and like, oh my God, this is massive. A massive style of music. And now it's even gotten to Long Island. I mean, people here, dude, you see Hicks in Long Island now. It's a really weird thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, the first person after that, I text my wife, and she's like, "That's so amazing," because I converted her, because she grew up kind of listening to the pop music and stuff like that. So I've molded her over the years. You probably have done the same.
Wait, what?
Molded like the kind of music your wife listens to, and
no, my wife still listens to garbage music.
Oh.
Horrible.
My wife does some, and I'm like, all right, I'll let that pass. But we have to listen to this.
You know
as
what?
well.
The Beatles. We went on a trip and road trip, right? And I put on Abbey Road, and about midway through, she was like, "Wow, this is really good." Like, what is this? What is this?
Yeah,
it's the biggest band.
Yeah,
I do think the Beatles are the best band probably ever, and Ringo Starr. I didn't even talk about Ringo Starr once. It was massive for me.
Oh yeah. Well, and he served a purpose. He laid down the groove for the Beatles. He didn't do anything flashy, and essentially that's what you want your drummer to do, and that's what you do for Taking Back Sunday. You don't overly go nuts like some drummers could overplay it. You suit the music.
If I did try to overplay, I know. I have tried to before on recordings, and the guys will go, all right, easy.
Take it down a notch, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
So,
but
I guess one thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Each other, we bring each other. Someone's trying to do something ridiculous. We usually go, all right, maybe let's not do this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and that's what surprised me the most was when on your last album, I'm trying to think of the song, but there's a break where you're doing some crazy drum fills, and that was it. But it suited the music very well. I'm trying to remember the song. I actually have iTunes up real quick with your albums listed. Let me see if I can. It's a particular song. Oh damn it. They don't have friends anymore.
They don't have friends. Yeah.
It gets that. There's that one part where you're doing those cool rolls and then the psh, 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 but it's delayed almost. It's there's very unique.
Delay. I don't think. I think.
Or maybe I'm confusing another song, but yeah.
Delay though.
Do what?
There's no delay. Maybe it just sounds like that because there's
Or maybe they cut it off, and not let it sustain. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, there it is. Okay, yeah. Which I thought was just super rad. And was that kind of like your decision to cut that off real quick, or was that the producer?
There was something. No, that was Hudson. That was Mark Hudson. Because it was produced by two people, Mark Hudson and Mike Sapone. Mm-hmm. So we did half of it in Michigan and half of it in Long Island. But yeah, Mark did that song and he did that.
Oh, okay, cool. I like those little flourishes and those little ads. And when I first started the podcast, that was I did like a year in review, and that was the album of the year for me was Happiness Is.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You know, I remember him showing that to me and kind of being like, huh? I was like, yo, that sounds really cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's great to have when you have a producer like that can kind of push you in that direction.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I felt very, you know, he was also our tour manager.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt very comfortable. And it was really laid back. Just doing the drum tracks, it was just him and I in the studio. And Sean was around, I think, for some of it. But you know, it was really like so a lot of times, like with that drum part, I kind of was like, hey, let me just try this real quick and see how it sounds. And that's how that happened, you know.
Nice. Well, I don't want to take any more of your time. I know you've got other things you got to get done, but I really appreciate you being on. It's been an honor to talk to you.
Thank you for asking. I'm happy you did.
Oh yeah, and anytime you want to be back on, just let me know and we'll figure something out.
Maybe when the album comes out after a couple months, we'll work on something.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so everybody, you know, can go and get it on the 16th of September.
Yeah.
And are there going to be any kind of like B-sides that are going to be released later, or?
You know, we put every song that we recorded.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So it's going to be 12 songs. Because usually, you know, we talked about having a 9-song album, but then we just said, you know, because we didn't want to like bicker, because you know, people didn't want one song and somebody else wanted another song, blah blah blah. So we were like, fuck it, who cares? Just put it on 12.
Okay, yeah. Well, and you know, let's see, because Happiness Is was in 2014, so you know, it's a quick turnaround for albums for you guys too.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Because I was kind of like thrown off, like, you know, my wife's like, "Did you hear?" I'm like, "Hear what?" She's like, "You know, Taking Back Sunday." I'm like, "What? Wow, that was quick."
Yeah. I guess usually it's every 3 years that we put out.
Which I was super stoked. I'm like, "Hey, God bless," you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so yeah, everybody can go follow you on Instagram, Twitter, and all that as well. And yeah, and if you're not listening to Taking Back Sunday, what are you guys doing? Get off your ass and go do it.
You know, come on.